By the late 2000s, John Travolta seemed to be living a version of life most people could only imagine. He had wealth, global recognition, a long-respected career, and a beautiful family. His Florida estate sat inside an aviation community where planes could taxi directly to his front door, a reflection of both success and personal passion. From the outside, everything appeared stable and complete. But life has a way of unfolding quietly beneath the surface, where no cameras follow. Loss doesn't announce itself with headlines. It arrives slowly, reshaping priorities and altering the meaning of success. As the years passed, John Travolta didn't lose ambition or gratitude, but he began to see life differently. Achievements mattered less than presence. Applause mattered less than peace. This wasn't a collapse or retreat. It was a conscious shift, shaped by decades of experience, love, heartbreak, and survival, leading him toward a quieter, more intentional way of living. Growing up where dreams had to be invented. John Travolta was born on February 18, 1954. In Englewood, New Jersey, the youngest of 6 children in a working-class household. Money was always tight, and nothing came easily. His father worked long hours running a tire business while his mother, Helen, filled their home with music, theater, and belief. She wasn't famous, but she believed deeply in creativity and expression. For John, school was difficult. He was shy, sometimes teased, and struggled to feel confident among his peers. But at home, things were different. He performed skits for his siblings, sang songs, and moved freely without judgment. His mother noticed something special early on and encouraged him toward theater, where emotion and imagination were valued. That encouragement mattered. In a world that often overlooked him, someone had already decided he was capable of more, and that belief became the foundation for everything that followed. Leaving home before he was ready. At just 16 years old, John Travolta made a decision that terrified his family and excited him all at once. He left home for New York City to chase acting, armed with very little money and no safety net. He took whatever work he could find, washing dishes, delivering items, and sleeping wherever space was available. Nights were long, rejection was constant, and doubt was never far away. Auditions blurred together, most ending in silence. Yet something kept him going. Every time he considered quitting, he remembered how alive he felt on stage. That feeling was stronger than fear. Slowly, small roles arrived. Nothing glamorous, nothing secure, but enough to keep him moving forward. These years shaped him deeply. They taught him humility, patience, and resilience. Long before fame arrived, John learned what it meant to stand alone, believe in yourself, and keep going without guarantees. Sudden fame in a world that moved too fast. Everything changed in the mid-1970s when John landed a role on the television series Welcome Back, Kotter. His character, Vinnie Barbarino, instantly stood out, and audiences connected with him in a way no one expected. Almost overnight, he became recognizable everywhere. But television success was only the beginning. In 1977, Saturday Night Fever transformed him into a cultural icon. His performance captured something raw and real, and the film resonated far beyond the dance floor. At just 23, he earned an Academy Award nomination, an achievement many actors never reach at any age. Fame arrived quickly and loudly, opportunities flooded in, expectations soared, and life accelerated. It was thrilling, but overwhelming. When Grease followed soon after, his place in pop culture was sealed. John Travolta hadn't just become famous, he had become a symbol of an era, and the pressure of that identity would follow him for years. When success turns unstable. The transition from unstoppable star to uncertain actor happened quietly, but painfully. As the disco era faded, so did the certainty that had once surrounded John Travolta's career. Some films didn't connect with audiences, and the tone of public perception began to shift. Projects that once seemed promising failed to leave a lasting impact. Missed opportunities added to the frustration. Hollywood can be unforgiving, especially to those who rise quickly. For John, this period was confusing rather than dramatic. He was still working, still talented, but momentum had slowed. Confidence wavered. The same industry that had celebrated him now questioned him. These years weren't defined by collapse, but by endurance. He stayed active, learned from missteps, and waited. It was a reminder that careers aren't straight lines. Sometimes progress pauses not to punish, but to redirect. And for John Travolta, that redirection would come when he least expected it. A second act nobody predicted. In 1994, a role arrived that would redefine everything. Quentin Tarantino cast John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, not as a polished hero, but as a flawed, human character. The performance surprised critics and audiences alike. It wasn't flashy or nostalgic. It was honest. The film reignited respect for his craft and reminded the industry why he mattered. Suddenly, opportunities returned. Over the next decade, John balanced commercial success with personal interests, rebuilding confidence without chasing trends. Financial success followed, but it wasn't the driving force anymore. During this time, his love for aviation grew stronger. Flying became more than a hobby. It became a form of freedom and focus, a place where control and calm existed together. This second act wasn't about reclaiming fame. It was about rediscovering identity, proving to himself that reinvention is possible when patience meets purpose. Love, family, and responsibility. In 1991, John Travolta married actress Kelly Preston, beginning a partnership built on mutual respect, humor, and loyalty. Together, they created a family that grounded him in ways fame never could. Their children became the center of his life, reshaping how he measured success. Fatherhood introduced responsibility beyond career ambition. It demanded presence, patience, and protection. The family valued privacy, choosing normalcy whenever possible despite public attention. John embraced this role fully, prioritizing time at home over endless projects. Parenting changed him. It softened his edges and strengthened his resolve. Even while balancing work and public life, his focus was clear. Family came first. Love was no longer something abstract or idealized. It was practical, daily, and deeply personal. This chapter of his life wasn't about headlines. It was about building something meaningful away from the noise. Loss that redefines everything. Life's most difficult moments don't erase what came before, but they change how everything is held afterward. John Travolta experienced loss that reshaped his understanding of time, priorities, and connection. These moments weren't public spectacles to him. They were deeply private experiences that altered his emotional landscape. Loss teaches perspective in a way nothing else can. It strips away illusions and clarifies what truly matters. For John, grief didn't lead to bitterness or withdrawal from life. Instead, it deepened his empathy and awareness. He became more protective of his energy, more intentional with his choices. Fame lost its shine when compared to the value of presence and stability. These experiences didn't define him, but they informed the man he became. Through loss, he learned the importance of living gently, loving fully, and allowing life to evolve rather than resisting its changes. Choosing quiet over applause. In recent years, John Travolta has chosen a quieter life, not out of exhaustion, but clarity. He still works, still creates, but only when projects align with his values and schedule. He spends more time flying, mentoring, and supporting his children as they find their own paths. This phase of life isn't about stepping away from the world. It's about engaging with it differently. He no longer measures success by visibility or numbers. Instead, he values balance, health, and connection. This choice surprises those who equate fulfillment with constant motion. But for John, stillness has become meaningful. It allows space to reflect, to enjoy simple moments, and to live without pressure. He hasn't disappeared. He's simply present where it matters most. And while we're in a world that constantly demands more, choosing less can be the most powerful decision of all. What his story really teaches us. John Travolta's life isn't a cautionary tale or a tragedy. It's a long, layered story about resilience, growth, and choice. He experienced extraordinary success, faced uncertainty, rebuilt himself, loved deeply, and learned to adapt when life changed course. His journey reminds us that reinvention doesn't require noise or validation. Sometimes it requires honesty and patience. Success isn't permanent, and neither is hardship. What remains is how we respond to change. John's story shows that stepping back doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing wisely. By prioritizing family, health, and personal peace, he redefined what fulfillment looks like. Fame can amplify a life, but it can't replace meaning. In the end, his greatest achievement isn't a role or award. It's learning how to live fully, quietly, and with intention, long after the spotlight fades.